Serbia stands at a political crossroads, engulfed in protest, suspicions of foreign interference, and a leadership embroiled in controversies that go beyond its borders. The unrest gripping Belgrade is not just another episode of public discontent. It is an explosive culmination of nationalist grievances, corruption scandals, and a geopolitical tug-of-war between the Western powers and Serbia's long-standing allies. President Alexander Vučić, under mounting pressure, continues to dismiss the growing dissent as a Western-backed plot aimed to destabilize his government. However, when you take a closer look, it also reveals a far more intricate power play, one that weaves in American politics, NATO's legacy, and Serbia's uneasy place in the global order. At the heart of the latest uproar is the controversial redevelopment project set to transform the remains of the Yugoslav Army's General Staff Building, a site heavily bombed by NATO during the 1999 intervention. The plan, spearheaded by Affinity Global Partners, the firm founded by Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, envisions a Trump-branded hotel, luxury apartment, and a memorial. The project has triggered fierce backlash, not only for its perceived erasure of history, but also what critics see as Serbia's capitulation to American business interest. Serbians are suddenly angry over the development, despite for the fact that Trump and Vučić share a history of good friendship over the last few years. The protesters, furious at what they consider the desecration of the national symbol, have taken to streets in large numbers, particularly on Serbia's Remembrance Day. Their anger transcends urban planning concern. They reject the Western influence and a statement of defiance against the government that they see is complicit in rewriting the country's past and accommodate foreign investors. Chants of F the Trump Tower have echoed through Belgrade, illustrating a sentiment that is as much as anti-American as it is anti-government. The protests have also tapped into broader frustration linked to the ongoing students-led and anti-corruption movement. The movement, sparked by the tragic collapse of the railway station canopy in Novi Sad last November, has exposed a deep-seated government negligence and systematic corruption. The incident claimed 16 lives and has since become a rallying point for opposition parties. However, the Serbian leaders know it very well that this all cannot happen all of a sudden. Ever since Donald Trump has came back to power, these protests have erupted on a new scale. And this is a very known fact that Vučić and Putin and also Donald Trump share a very good mutual connection. And suddenly, most of the Serbians wants Vučić to get out of power. And surprisingly, the European Union doesn't even care about it, that such a big protest is happening in their own continent. This might be a major reason why the Serbian government is now calling it a color revolution, or we can also say a Serbian Euromaidan. The Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Vučić has taken the narrative even further. He has claimed that the Western security agencies are actively working to overthrow Vučić administration, much like the 2014 Euromaidan uprising in Ukraine. In a striking statement made during a meeting in Moscow, Vučić accused foreign intelligence networks of plotting Serbia's downfall, arguing that the West seeks to destroy Serbia for refusing to align with NATO politics, particularly regarding the sanctions on Russia. It is no secret that Serbia's refusal to impose sanctions on Moscow has made it a pariah in the Western diplomatic circles. Unlike its neighbor, Belgrade has mentioned its close allies has ties to Moscow, positioning itself as a rare European ally to Vladimir Putin. The stance, along with Vučić's continued defiance against the European Union, what he sees as Western bullying, has only fueled the conspiracy theories, the so-called conspiracy theories about coordinated effort to remove him from power. But there is another layer in this unfolding drama that involves Donald Trump. Vučić has also long maintained warm relations with Trump, and their political alliance is often cited as a counterbalance to the Biden administration's harsher stance on Serbia. Trump, unlike the Democratic leaders, has not pushed any sanctions against Belgrade, nor did he lean heavily on Kosovo. Instead, his administration facilitated an economic normalization agreement between Serbia and Kosovo in 2020 without forcing Vučić into political concession. Trump's return as a dominant figure in the United States has settled the so-called deep state. This is a no-hidden fact which also sees Vucic regime as an extension of the Trumpian worldview, one that favors sovereignty over supranational dictates. Now, if you take a closer look at Serbia, it all makes sense that yes, it is highly likely that the deep state, a one that hates both Vucic and Trump, could be behind this unrest all of a sudden. The situation in Serbia is anything but simple. It is a volatile blend of the nationalist resurgence, historical grievances, corrupt scandals, and a little bit escalation, fanning of the flames by the deep state. The protests are not merely about a real estate deal, they reflect on a nation grappling with its identity, its place in the world. Now, as Vucic tightens its grip on power, Serbia is now finding itself in a precarious juncture, one that could define its political trajectory for years to come.